Oh yeah, we have to start talking.
I always forget that.
Yes, this is I am Shay Gardam, co-director of a film called Passing.
And I'm Emlyn a co-director as well, but also a co-actor, co-writer, and a co-producer.
Yeah, as much as writing is a principle of...
Roles were pretty fuzzy.
A film by me and Emlyn. This is the first... No, this isn't the first thing we should... Oh, well, I guess we could talk about how we made this film and get that right out of the gate.
Yes.
That's going to be relevant.
Probably the most important part.
Which is that we didn't know what the other person was shooting. This was during like a 2-week lockdown period where we each made half of a film without the other person knowing what the other person was shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's everything. That's the case for everything in this film except the very last bit. And I think it drove Emlyn insane.
Yeah, I definitely probably broke a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nothing. Absolutely nothing. Shay contacted me and was like, I got an idea. I don't want to waste this time in a lockdown, nor do I want to be too depressed. Let's make a film. And we decided that neither of us would really let each other know what we were doing. So I'm very used to making things with, some sort of vision or structure or plot or...
Well, I mean, to this point that I had really acclimatized to making stuff on my own. So and you hadn't.
No.
And you were like, so truly yours is the experience of being alone in a room.
Yes.
To the point that I got like mad at you once for like saying like, oh, I filmed something with Nathan. I don't want to know. Which is like, because I was like obsessively wanting like, because the only communication we really had was these phone calls.
Yeah. And maybe a brief chat.
So literally
after.
What the characters are expressing is more or less what we are learning. Normally our chats before and after were just us talking to each other.
Yes. Like get ready for a chat.
Yeah, or something.
Set
or
up
like,
a camera, get ready.
Sometimes I would say things like, I'm going to get mad at you in this call or whatever, or I'm going to throw this thing at you. But it wasn't very elaborate.
No, it was just be prepared for maybe these certain things.
I think this would have been the first thing we filmed, and then I filmed the other bit first. So the bit with me and the ladder. Because I had a bunch of prop motifs that you hate.
I don't hate them, but I think it's because I didn't have any prop motifs.
Yeah, because we didn't communicate.
No. But I had a whole day of shooting with Nathan.
Well, that's how you...
samurai film.
Which we have to release at some point. That's a crazy deleted scene. Where there was, like, in this grounded lockdown film, that there's this, like, samurai dream sequence. Which wasn't even really shot as a dream sequence from what I can ascertain.
No, well...
You just fell into that.
Yeah, so after we shot this first scene, I think one thing that kept me steady a bit in terms of what I was doing was trying to work off what was being put down.
Yeah.
So I wanted to introduce Nathan as just like another voice. But since I had no idea what I was doing, I couldn't really communicate that to Nathan. So I just sort of went and made a samurai film.
Yeah, because you see it in the I think you see it in the wide, like in the scene that Nathan decides to do a character.
Yes. And it's brilliant.
It's great. I really wanted to make it work in the film, and it just absolutely didn't.
It worked in the trailer.
Yes, there is a shot of it in the trailer.
Yes, hello.
The trailer I really like. I'm really proud of the trailer.
It's quite good.
It looks like a real movie.
I mean, I'm not proud of the film. But
Yeah. I mean, like, it's interesting. I don't think there's been much of I haven't ascertained much of a response to this film. I can tell you 2 people who I've talked to who I know have watched it.
Yeah.
And you at least one.
Yeah, I think generally it's from the small pool of people we had, it was there's no idea of that process.
Yeah.
Or that like
well,
we're individually we're shooting most of the time with just the one camera on sticks with a lav mic.
Yeah.
and that's it. Nobody really was able to discern whether or not that was the case, or if we did have a crew.
Well, I think I deliberately chose not to market the improvised part of it, or at least us not knowing what the other person was making. I remember you saying you wanted to get naked in the film, and we had different definitions of that. But this, I don't know how clear the eating disorder subtext is in the film as finished, because I feel like that was more prominent in my footage. I mean, what was really interesting is that during doing it, I was thinking like, oh, I'm making a trans narrative for trans people. This isn't about a cis perspective. Not really cognizant that you were going to make a film about your character relating to a trans story.
Yes.
So it has everything.
Yeah, I think that's one thing, maybe why the eating disorder stuff might not come across as strongly as you might have hoped, is because Zach spends no time of the journey of his character looking into that. Rather, he goes and looks at samurai films.
Well, I mean, as long as, like, the stuff that generally made it into the edit is when we were reacting to each other. Yeah. There was, actually editing it was crazy, because there was so much stuff that lined up completely randomly. Like, even down to, like, visual metaphors and stuff like that.
Same person.
It's just, like, that was just such a stroke of luck. I think this first half of I like the second half of the film more. This is, I don't know what quality it is, but I think the second half just flows a little better.
Yeah. I think it's more that I think both of the narratives start to align a bit better. Yeah. In terms of what's going on.
Maybe because we had more of a sense of what's going on and who the characters are. Because we've been filming for a bit. I remember a conversation we had, like, it would have been after or early, but, or like right after or early, but, like, you, like, spoke about, like, not having, like, a direction, and I was like, Emlyn, direct yourself. Which you hadn't. That was a revelation to you.
Yes.
Because that's what I was doing. But then I wasn't really directing you in that regard to do that. That was a little longer in your version of it. That was a bit more.
Well, yeah, I didn't know.
Which is fine.
I didn't know. I think
that was just, I told you, can you do a lawnmower thing?
Yes.
And then you did.
Yeah, I guess it's tricky when you're back in a lockdown for a week. Well, I think it was lockdown 5. No, it would have been lockdown. Yeah, no.
Yeah, 5, yeah.
Must have been 5. So no, I think it was 4 actually. Because 5 was around my birthday.
Oh, we shot this, like, weirdly long ago. This was like May, June, was it?
No, I think it was earlier than that.
Was it? Oh my god!
I think it was April.
No, it couldn't have been April. April's too early.
Okay, maybe it was.
I think this was. It was your birthday. You have a birthday scene in the film.
Yeah. Okay, it was
the blurring the lines between reality and fiction.
So hard to remember.
Which is like, that was interesting as well, because I was like, I was leaning more into performance of real problems I was having, or versions of them. And I think you were shooting more of a documentary than I was.
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of that comes down to
This was, I like this little scene.
Yes. Well, it was, most days would consist of, at some point, I've got to shoot something. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what I'm going to shoot. I have no idea. But I've got to shoot something. So it wasn't, like, I think if I was to do it again, it would be, a bit more organised. But also, just not even shoot for coverage, just shoot as much as I could in a day with that time. Rather than sort of aimlessly going around. Or at least try and find something that was consistent to what was going on.
I think we probably would have been helped by we did kind of establish a through line. I think because, like, what was interesting is what I'm going to keep saying. Mm-hmm. Is what was interesting is that
it's so interesting.
I would. we would both film the same exposition. Like, we would take something from our phone calls and be like, I would mention the email or whatever else, and then this is my real ringtone. And that's actually fake. The one in the other call is real, but I added this for consistency, continuity. Anyway, we would film. I would mention like the email, and then you would film something where you talk off screen to their parents, and then go like, "Oh, did something email," which is a fine scene.
Yeah. How often did we talk about the deleted scenes?
There's a couple.
Yeah,
there's a couple. I don't think there's that many. It's mostly like just cutting down stuff. I think this is. I don't know what the length of this is now, but it was like this was like a 15-minute call, and I think it's down to like 7. I mean,
it was interesting. Like some of the. I think I kept wanting to reach out, so I tried to involve Nathan. I tried to involve the imaginary, well, not the imaginary, like the parents of the characters.
Yeah.
But I think when we were editing it, well, sorry, you were editing it, and I was just stressed out of my mind. We noticed that like the more there was more symmetry to their lives, so when we only have the one friend to communicate to. Well, in Zach's case, the ex.
Yeah, well, I think
it sort of flowed better.
I mean, it works out because. It works better that Zach doesn't have someone physically there.
Yeah.
In the way that... Because, I don't know, I think his problems seem more in his mind, and mine are more external, I guess, or circumstantial, or just relating to being trans in the world. And, yeah, then you get... So it makes sense that I have a better support network, because I'm obviously... I don't know, I feel like my character has like gotten further in terms of like mentally unraveling oneself.
Just wait till you hear about me filming myself to Shay's side of the filming.
Oh my god! Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
So, I think once the lockdown had finished, Shay wanted to see my reaction to the footage, and I interpreted that as film myself watching it, so Shay could see my reactions live while I was watching it.
Because I was just too impatient to wait like another week for a film that wouldn't come out till late October.
And that fritzed me out, because I was reacting genuinely, but then responding to the voice of Shay in my head.
Then to the camera, and like, so performing to the camera, recording you, watching my footage, which at this point was just raw footage, and you were also acting as if like that was the final edit.
Yes.
Like, I would just, like, some I just hadn't edited much of, so it was just long takes. It's like, oh, you shouldn't repeat this. Yeah, I know. I don't... But at that point, you had mentally... You kept pausing it for long periods of time and just talking, because it was like, you so didn't want to do it, and like, that was the first point... Like, watching, even like through all the filming, like watching that, I was like, what? I felt genuinely very bad about what I had done to you.
And then when you first called me to see if I was mentally okay, I was in the middle of a workout and couldn't understand what was going on.
Yeah, because
Safe to say, things are better now.
Well, that's kind of the problem too, because we weren't communicating... during the making of the film, other than as mostly in character, that I wasn't really ascertaining the level of mental anguish you were experiencing.
Yeah, fascinating.
Alright, well, I won't keep you long. So
but hey, at least the mental anguish came out with a pretty good film all in all.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was really interesting. We recorded our reactions to the same press conference.
Yeah.
Without realising it. That's one of those little ones.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because, well, at least on my half, I was like thinking of getting exposition. And I thought, hey, this would be a good chance.
Yeah.
Get Dan talking.
I think it was Merlino for the time. James Merlino.
Oh, it was?
Yes, that's why he appears in it. So you can hear his voice. He's
the,
not credited. But I do like that you kind of get to follow each of us on our days. I think like the links between our stuff worked out really, really well.
Yeah.
And I like this shot.
Yeah.
It's one of my better ones.
Actually, I did have a prop motif.
Yes.
Come up.
You did? What was it?
The New York background.
Oh, yes, you did, yeah.
Yeah, which, when we get there...
Came up organically, rather than my things. I have a obtuse ladder thing going on.
There's some worth in the ladder.
I like the ladder. There's one that is still kind of in it that I abandoned, which was like the shoes. You see the shoes by the bin, which isn't maybe something to talk about during this scene. So that was just meant to refer to like over exercising but not being able to throw away the shoes, which is part of the eating disorder thing. Again, that's like the thing that sort of didn't reach completion. But I also something I was trying to do that, like, so I had a really specific continuity to follow because I was making it so, because the character is gender fluid and I was showing their transition between gender identity by, you know, stripping naked and then following to the next scene where they would swap around. So there was just points where I had to be like, I was communicating to you like I can't film X before Y. This has to take place in such time in my timeline. Which
unintentionally was frustrating.
Yeah.
Because, we'd agreed that we wouldn't fully know what the other one was doing. But there was such a, it was so obvious that you had an idea, like something set in stone that you knew you'd be doing. And I didn't know how to bend my will to that.
To the imaginary concepts I wasn't disclosing.
Some good tunes came out of this.
Yeah, no, I like this. I really like this bit. I think, I remember one of the things I did ask you was like, does Zach finish the song? Because you'd mentioned the song in the calls. And then I was like, and then you said...
the song, so...
No, but you had a really defiant, no, he doesn't finish it.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, fine.
Yeah. Awesome, I don't have to sing to myself in my room. Stressful!
Yeah, it's a fun little module. It was good that you shot multicam, because I didn't have two cameras. So your footage ends up being a little more...
Well, yeah, thinking of coverage, like being able to do it again, I thought to myself, I had the two cameras. I guess having the options would be good.
Because I didn't want it to feel too much like one of the YouTube videos where it's just cutting between multicam.
Yeah.
This is one of the ones where I keep cutting between two angles. I try to do as little of it as possible. The scene following with Monique is similar. But yeah, like the makeup scene later, I think I just leaned on one and then I moved to the other. I tried to do that where I could.
Monique?
What's her name? Louise.
Yeah.
Monique, I got that from Thank You for Calling. Okay.
That's alright.
The other film we made this month. The month of editing this.
Yeah.
Gotta
love the world getting put in lockdowns and artists just doubling down and making more content.
I think I'm realizing something. This is the one that you're watching. We're watching two different screens just for technical whatever.
Anyway.
The subtitles aren't on yours either. Now you're watching from youtube.com.
Yes.
Okay, so they're not in the movie. I thought they were.
I don't think I've got captions on.
They're not, but it's not captions. It's just they're meant to be burnt in.
See, this is the...
this is an embarrassing moment of realization that you just can't...
Well, I think that's a tricky thing as well as like making films the way we have. There has to come a point where you have to say fuck it and just go and do it. Because a big thing for me was just, not having the vision or whatever it is, but trying to make it to a quality that I could understand was perceivably good or excellent or great. But I couldn't figure out that at all. I couldn't gauge a quality meter at all. So I think that's why a lot of my stuff ended up becoming a documentary.
Yes.
Because it would just be what it was.
Where I was like forming an arc in my head as to like where I wanted to end up.
But it wouldn't be quantitative. But even being instead in that, like filming something without knowing what it would be like or what it would be going to. The whole process, even now coming back to it, like there's so much we pick up I think that's because there's so many times we had to say fuck it. We just have to we have to see how it works, or we just have to go and put it out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the solutions to that was, like, not wanting to reshoot the scene, so we'll put subtitles over Jess's dialogue, so the audience can clearly interpret it, as is obviously the case.
Yeah.
I'm really annoyed about that.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like we made a feature film, the two of us, and improvised it. Whereas, like, think of the teams that exist to create just a subtitle file.
We should have put like a Marvel credits, like a million visual effects artists at the end,
and it's all just your name.
Yeah.
But that is an inevitability of doing it the way we did. Is one would hope, or at least my hope was always that if we missed out on hearing Jess at the moment, who plays Louise, then hopefully if there was an audience that hoped to pay attention, or if there were things lost, maybe that would add to the feeling.
Well, I hope it comes through in like just the subtext of what's happening, and you can make out enough of what Louise is saying.
Yeah.
So this was like, that was. What was your motivation for doing the second call? Because I like it. I like how it works out, because it just adds to Zach's character. That
I think at this time when I was filming, we had the 2 phone calls behind us, and I had a vague idea that Zach was separated from somebody. So I called Jess.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so we finished the first phone call, and then similar to what we had done with our phone calls, we'd chat about it before and after.
Yeah.
So I recalled Jess and I said, I think we need to have another call. Jess was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we just did it and did another call. There wasn't a third call, was there?
Sorry.
Between
these two?
No.
Okay, I'm just misremembering.
It's just 2.
Calling Jess back.
Yeah, no, I think I edited the call with Jess was longer. Pretty much whenever there's a cut here, most of the time it's just me condensing something. But I think...
Oh, that was perfectly timed. I just said, as my character said.
Oh,
Sorry.
there's a bit at the end, like, basically in the original version of this, Jess had the line, Louise had the line to the effect of, just ending their relationship, friendship, and then she's kind of went back on it a little.
Yeah.
And I cut that, and it comes off much more damning.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then you feel a
bit more weight to it.
Yes. Because, like, Zach then has ruined this relationship.
Yeah. Huge fan of how I shot that, though.
Yeah.
And then I came up with the idea of the final image of the scene. I think literally as the phone call ended, I was like, Jess, I'm just going to go now because it's about to rain and I need to get a shot.
Yeah, so then the last shot of this where you're like running out, like it's literally, you see the shot of you in the window, and then like the moment we cut away from that is the same moment that you like ran down around to get the camera from the garden.
Oh God.
Before it rained on the camera.
Oh, you did, I think you, one of the deleted scenes you cut out was me kicking the footy?
Yes, there was that. Yeah. That was in your like day montage.
Yeah.
Between you getting home from like the tree and the
a lot of it really did end up coming down to, or at least in those early days, was just filming some of the stuff I did in lockdowns, which would kick a footy against the wall. Walk in circles. Stress for no reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean that comes through in Zach.
Hell yeah.
So, it's to an end.
I can't remember, is the image of me like stroking the window there? There it is.
Yeah, so the moment after this ends, you run down and get this camera. Yeah. No, I don't. You stroking the window is later, I think. That's after. Yeah, cool. I'm thinking about your little nap on the floor, or before, around then.
I do like my little nap.
So filming this with Harry was very
Look, whatever's comfortable for you.
Confused. Oh yes. So the reason it always cuts right when you see the laptop, because what's on my laptop is this image of Harry watching the laptop. So Harry isn't looking at me. Harry's looking at a blank screen, and I'm looking at Harry watching this screen. And it's like the reason we did it that way is because Harry needed to record their audio from their phone. Harry, who plays Jordan. So record from their phone, and so that they had to record with their laptop, and they had like another laptop.
It's never easy, is it?
So then the next time I bring this character back, I just did it normally and not in a really convoluted, annoying way.
Yeah, I think that's like, I don't, even though like, you know, mental anguish aside and lockdown aside, and it was difficult in an abstract way on the days. I think it was like ultimately this the film is just like was an awesome opportunity to still be able to express, be a form of self-expression, because you know, we put so many things that can stop us in our way from self-expression, and even though like I guess it was painful, or there was stuff I was still trying to work out mentally at the time, I'm glad like I was able to express myself to a degree then. Because even like watching it back now, like there's so much that's changed in our lives at the moment.
Yeah.
You're in a new place.
Yeah.
My house has changed a lot.
And like even just like the problems I was dealing with as I was making this film in terms of identity were not the problems I was dealing with as I was editing this film, and the problems that I'm dealing with now in terms of identity are not the problems I had when I was editing it.
Sequel?
Yeah, especially because this is when I was even still identifying as gender fluid. So the character remains gender fluid unless like we do a sequel in 10 years. But
Passing 2.
Oh.
Or passing with 2 G's.
Yes, that's
Passing.
I mean, filming this was like both of the Harry calls, the Jordan calls, were largely a thing of like we spoke not in subtext. We were like really, really overt in our conversations. Like we would have things like saying like, you know, how are you with your siblings? You know, like really obvious dialogue, and then you just cut down to like what doesn't sound really shitty. Because it's just like, because like I was like compensating just like, because I didn't know if you were going to get that in your footage, and obviously it came out in your footage as it always was going to. But I was like we were both trying to make a whole film, I think. And like without really being, there was an edit of this that was just my footage. That is a more boring film.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, because well, when you're doing it, well. The great thing about improvising is you get so much to work with. And especially when you were editing, like, the scene that's coming up in a bit when Zach's talking to the therapist was like, I think
that was so impressive.
A 30-minute
It's like 20, I think.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
I'd cut that down to 2 minutes.
Like, if I could include all of that, I would. It's like it's genuinely so good.
Deleted
it's such
scene.
a great performance from you. Just like non-stop you talking to the therapist.
Oh, you'll see that soon, dear listener.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
Emlyn on the floor.
Yeah. A thing I always thought of when getting ready for a scene was like thinking of what could I do? How could I add variety to what I'd already shot? Because if I made a collage of all the shots of my room, I think I've gotten it from every conceivable angle I can.
Well, that's why I think I prefer your visuals to mine. I think there's a lot more visual diversity, especially because you were operating, so you go outside and you stay in your room, and I use my whole house, but I don't go outside.
Yeah. You go on the ladder, but you don't go outside of the
I don't go outside.
Yeah,
I don't go anywhere, like at a location.
Oh no, it's the Joker.
I really like this a lot.
Me too.
Because I really like... I don't know if I trust his not liking this or not, or like what... I don't know, he's trying to get it, which is what I really like.
Is it just the one shot, isn't it?
It's 2. We cut to the wider shot later. What are your reflections on this?
I'm just thinking about how I shot it.
Okay.
I was so stressed beforehand.
Yeah.
I had I had an idea that I wanted to do it in the bathroom because I think I was thinking of like piecing it together with the previous bathroom shot.
Yeah.
And just trying to get that's right. I just used the one light. I think ended up working really well, but like I think I tried putting a camera in the shower, which is in this frame, much more to the left.
Mhm.
And then, of course, I explained to everyone, because I'm living with my parents and my brother at the time, I was like, can nobody come to the back of the house? I'm shooting something and I don't know what I'm going to shoot. And then I just scrammed. Scrammed and went and shot it.
Oh. This was when this is the joke I did without you knowing what the punchline was.
Yeah, bang a joke.
Because in the previous 2 calls, you'd told me to like move around and for a better signal. So then
Well, that's because I legitimately couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I get that. But this was me instructing you to
And now you
perform
can see
you
why
not hearing
mental
me
anguish came out.
as I pulled the strings of my Emlyn puppet.
Something.
Hold on, I'll just move over.
Oh,
So there's a joke.
Do what you
This is a whole other room that I established earlier, but I cut the shot because it was derivative. But and it's like, but the idea is, because this was the case for me at the time, that Andy has a room for male clothes, like a wardrobe for male clothes, and this is just like the girl wardrobe room. I mean, yeah.
Huh, I didn't know you had an establishing shot.
Because I cut it. It was before the montage, but the change montage at the start.
Interesting.
That was, I think that was the first thing I shot. That
Really?
stuff, yeah.
There you go.
Before I shot the call with you.
So was the male stuff in the bedroom?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that really came through anyway, but yeah. Basically, I just had this house to myself for this period of time, so I was really just using the whole thing.
go.
I don't. I feel like I'm lacking. What is this for? Is this for the song that you mentioned?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I think you made a point that like Zach is just calling up Andy bored. He's doing the same thing he did with Louise.
Yeah.
Well, he's not. He doesn't want to talk to.
Purposeful.
Yeah.
It's something to do.
So wait, what kind of song is?
Which I think sometimes making this felt like. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I really love doing this scene though. That was good fun.
Yeah.
Two
It's like, oh
rounds.
yeah, I really love where we go with this.
I'm so glad to be able to
Jingle jangle.
I think I teleport a bit because I had to cut down my... I don't know, I suppose it looks normal.
Mm.
Like me getting changed here.
That was an interesting thing as well. Was because your character has housemates, don't they?
Yes! Oh yes, because I was living with people at this time actually. But I was using this room for myself.
I was trying to
Because it
figure
was
out
like
how
a
to get,
4-bedroom
that,
place, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
payment or whatever the
And
fuck
they
it
moved
was.
out pretty much right after. But like the...
But yeah.
Yeah, so...
To go through the loopholes, so I just
You do sort of hear them in it, very, very incidentally later, in like the background. So they got a special thanks credit.
yeah, but you're still working. Like at least you can, go and do something that's.
well, but I think I made like an
Sitting down.
allusion to a character
Yes.
as well early on.
Yeah, and then I cut that. I think that was in our second call, and then I cut the dialogue around that.
Mm.
So I don't think I don't know how present it is in the film,
Interesting.
but well, maybe it's in the first call. I don't know. It's been a while since I watched this.
Yeah. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it's probably been
I obviously,
since release.
I obviously didn't
Which
watch
was
the version
October.
on YouTube to notice the subtitles. And
Ah.
everything.
Yeah, I watched the YouTube version when it was released.
Okay.
Just like.
Um,
Yeah, because you hadn't. I don't think I showed it to you when it was actually done. I think you watched
I came over. I
a
watched,
fine cut
Yes.
previously.
but not
And
the
had notes and
YouTube
stuff.
published one.
I don't know. I
That's alright.
Just doing some adjustments.
Yeah, Emlyn's video is out of sync.
Got it. Bang. Man, I'm
Great. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm pretty great.
Um,
I just want to get a word in.
Sure.
yeah, so this was... I filmed the breakdown after work before this,
I have to get a word.
and then I filmed this going to work stuff the next day.
Were you working during that?
I
lockdown?
think I was working, yeah. So it actually was.
I think I had a day at work, but no, I don't think I did that lockdown.
Yeah. No, you didn't, because that's in your narrative where
Yeah, I couldn't get to work.
your character works at a cafe.
Yes.
Oh, this is one of those great sync moments where we both do something violent, like you throwing the phone, me hitting the wall. Oh yeah. I told my roommates like I'm gonna probably hit a wall or get angry or yell. So just know it's not real. I'm just gonna make noise elsewhere. And this is the Zoom therapy scene.
Completely improvise. I'm not
Yeah.
talking to anyone.
Yours are always very.
Except myself.
Yeah. Again, we're not seeing you talk to anyone. Of course, there's no one on the other end of the line in reality, but.
When I was filming this, to keep with my multicamming, I had the camera on me
I know
there.
last time we were talking about
But I also had my laptop webcam going.
Yes.
So I've got 20 minutes of that angle.
Which is not very different to this angle.
No.
This is just mostly a lower
Just
res version of
very
this
low
angle,
res.
and maybe at a slightly higher angle.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really much a cut between. But I'm fine with the jump cuts here because it kind of forces you to take like these sort of raw chunks.
Yeah, it felt well. It's like kind of like a documentary when you need to sort of make that jump time.
Yeah.
So it still flows nicely.
Yeah.
You go round about it, the most direct way of doing
Yeah,
it.
there was an interesting. I don't remember if it's in it or not. Is the makeup thing in it? Do you remember?
What do you mean by makeup?
When Zach talks about Andy and Zach
I think it may
doing
be,
makeup.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there was a few things.
I think
can't
that's what it
remember.
jumps to.
Yes, that's right. Because I really wanted to put that in. And then you had some line about like, it's like it wasn't a joke to them, and I cut that because that's in the. That's in there.
Oh.
in the telling of the story.
Man, it just pisses me off. Like, I get that it's lockdown, but you can call me anytime, can FaceTime them. It's just.
I had so much to draw from.
Yeah, where were like now at this point in making the film? Where were you compared to earlier?
It felt like.
Had there been a change? Because obviously you're building from our calls. You have some like
Come out and say
some
it.
kindle on the fire.
Yeah. I think this is immediately after that. I filmed it immediately after that phone call with you.
Right.
I
Okay.
know that, but
So I think my brain was just like, I've got an idea. I'm just going to run with it now. And I also filmed the deleted scene where I went and talked to the parents.
Yes.
it's,
Yeah. So I thought logically in my brain it was
the lockdown's
an email's come up.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to it, or it might have been the other way around. Oh,
Yeah.
either one. But it was on the same day that I did that. Yeah.
Work with works. The work still.
I'm captivated by the performance.
Beck and David at it at the moment, so I went past them.
Again, thank you.
Just
Dazzling.
adore how I just an entire vacuum is going on for me right here. And it's come out great.
I'm looking at 3 Emlyns right now.
It's pretty crazy.
You, Emlyn, and then the 2 crying Emlyns on the screens in front of me.
Maybe I should start crying now.
Oh my god. There's the cut, yeah.
Blend the lines between reality and fiction.
Hmm.
Which
Well, I think-
which I like to get annoyingly is it semantic about it?
Sure.
Maybe.
Andy and I were.
I think that's like academically I was having that war within my head was where do you find that balance between making something that's fiction and something that's reality?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was a comment from somebody that did watch it who said something about, I think it was like this scene where it was like, oh, it felt really raw and like very just like I felt like I'd invaded somebody's privacy.
You're right.
And like my brain was like, where does the loop stop? Like if you're doing where does the line stop? When do you know you're not performing anymore? And I think that's like what ended up to a bit of my mania was just I didn't see an end.
Yeah, and I guess because I narrativized it a little more, I could see like where I kind of wanted to end up.
So
and I was, like,
note to
keeping-
self for next time.
Well, I was
it's all fiction.
Well, you weren't keeping notes to yourself, and I was.
No.
Which was an interesting difference.
Yes, we kept
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, this is really nice. I really like this.
But what am I doing?
I don't know.
Waving through the window.
Yeah, this was...
This is the roommate part.
Yeah, so we both filmed sort of therapy scenes.
Yes, we did.
Isn't that interesting? And that at the same point, in the same point of the story, that we both had a beat where we like self-reflected and like expressed anguish to a third party.
It's just that it's that coincidental self-expression of I think both sharing the experience of being in what would become the world's longest lockdown. Imagine having this film edited and then it coming out during another lockdown.
Imagine filming throughout all of the like a long lockdown. I think you would die.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Somehow came out on the other end.
Yeah, there's a lot of denoising going on in my footage. Turns out pretty well, I think.
I was surprised by I never put a fuzzy cat or a little wind blocker on the lab.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it seems the audio's come out alright.
Yeah, it's mostly if there's wind.
Yeah.
That it's useful.
Well, that was just to think back to when I was walking out into the open parkland area.
Yeah.
No chance you would have heard me from the camera audio, but...
No. But it's like, I know that was like editing it. How quiet do I make you far away? Where it's like, how much do I let this be a film and how much do I let this be realistic? But like, whatever. Yeah, this is funny because I like sent Harry like a message because I'm really sending these messages to them just in case they want to like, I don't know, react in some way as part of the collaboration.
Everyone has to film themselves.
And I was just like, so I'm going to send you a bunch of messages. And I don't feel these things. I am in perfect health right now, but I'm going to send some very distressed sounding messages, and I want you to know that in case you do listen to them.
Oh, well, I think I'm now thinking of like the final phone call.
Yeah.
And you said something similar along the lines to me. You said,
what if it's not that job? Like,
we just sort of need to get there. We need to have... not that we needed to have it, but I feel that this is what I want to have.
Yeah.
I want things to spike. And it's just generally lovely thing to do is afterwards that we could talk and just check in that we were okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I warned you ahead of our last call that was like...
We're going to see some shit.
We're going to see some shit. And then I called you after a reasonable amount of time, be like, all right, you right?
Yeah, but there was I think on both ends we still had a bit more. There was a bit of space where we both sat in it, whether that was still a performance or not.
Yeah.
Until we called one another. Very similar lighting to the Joker scene.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right.
Just left it front rather than right.
Oh, I only have to call someone in.
That's actually quite, a visual.
Oh, maybe you should
Subtle, accidental, visual poetry.
See someone about it. Oh yeah, what do you think I've fucking been doing for 3 years?
So yeah, this was kind of this experience was real, but by the time I filmed it, I was like, I sort of recovered. You know,
and sit there.
That's an interesting thing about. It's so interesting. I have to find a simile for it. But
don't get any money.
When you're improvising,
This is a fun quirk.
And when you're improvising something that's of your world, I think a lot of the time, the easiest thing to do is draw from something that's immediate, from an immediate memory. I'm not sure about you, but at least with like the therapy scene, and some of the walking around, was from me already walking around and thinking about, I really wanted to go, the land, I really wanted to just see what was out there.
Yeah.
And the therapy one was, I think I had, it was my second session in therapy.
Yeah.
Or my first Zoom therapy. I was like, that's kind of average, but it's something I can use.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me it was kind of it was helpful to... I think it was helpful to narrativize reality a bit, because then it was less real. Harry recorded that.
Get a bit of space from it.
This is the best shot in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, YouTube, don't take it down. No, YouTube.
Yeah, I like the little shift in the character here where
God, I'm
You
getting
get
so
that support from-
sentimental about your old house.
Yeah. You get support from Harry and then from Jordan, and then you get this nice, I don't know, putting their life in order.
Now, tell us
organising stuff.
about this.
This was so interesting. I stumbled back upon this while shooting. This real vlog I really shot in 2013, where I cross-dressed for some fun comedy. And the whole time, it's just very much cut down. You can find it on my channel. As Pretty Shane's Punishment is the title.
Huh.
But yeah, so oh, look at my lips there with like phlegm on the side. Yeah, so in the whole video, I'm like going on about, oh, how good it is to be a girl, and I thought it would be really interesting to react to, which I'm really doing in this shot. This is my real reaction to this video. So I actually start just laughing. It's just very funny. Then for some reason I got you to record a reaction to it.
Yes.
Which makes no sense for your character to also be watching this video. And also you'd already seen it. You weren't organically reacting.
Yeah. It was, well, it's that thing of, it was, yeah, drawing from something in our actual lives that you thought generally could relate to it, but just being surprised by some of the comments in it.
Yeah.
See, I did get naked.
Yeah, well...
Nobody sees my penis, but...
It doesn't count if I don't see your butt.
You're right. It doesn't count. Maybe in the next passing.
Yeah, this feels like a very me bit, because it's a prop motif, I guess.
I lived with that photo up for almost maybe a decade.
Yeah.
And I never thought what would happen if I put it up against the window.
And it fits fucking perfectly.
So fucking perfectly.
That's so good.
Another wonderful coincidence was after we published the film, Netflix had their own passing come out, which was it was Rebecca Hall, the actor, their first time directing, and it was about a African American woman trying to pass as white in the 1930s.
Which is similar to what this
film
is
it's very
about.
similar.
It's like they
shot
ripped us
black and
off.
white.
Yeah.
Loved that.
I mean, the title of our film came from Harry's line saying, like, passing through earlier.
Yeah.
And you like that. We were looking for, like,
No, it came from Rebecca Hall, actually.
Yes, that's true. We did rip off Netflix. Yeah, this is something... I was really excited to show you this edit.
Oh, it was so
you
good.
You really liked.
Love the hell out of this.
Yeah. Some royalty-free tracks.
I can't remember what song I put on to actually dance to.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as you're cutting to the beat.
Very true. I love how sometimes royalty-free... Oh my god, actually, I'm just having PTSD of picking up those motherfuckers.
You said, like, as recent as a few months ago you were still...
3 weeks ago I found a blue
my
one
God.
underneath the bed. And, like, I've reorganised my room since then. Oh my god. I did so well. And yet there's still so many.
And I even cut out, on your request, the shot of you picking them up, I think.
Yes.
That's really good. That plays really well in the trailer. I think it's good here, too.
So raw, so real.
Yes. Real pain. That makes great art. That's how fundamental... That's the lesson of this film.
That is the lesson of passing.
So this was like... So the video... This is very retroactive, turning the real-life video of the punishment thing, where I'm cross-dressing, like, sort of ironic cross-dressing content as is ritual, was addressed to Ruby, which was just a real person, but is now the dead name of this character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just me.
See how you can get your wires crossed?
Yeah. This was like...
Why don't people make more movies about star things and wars happening there? All this reality is so confusing.
This is one of the ones where, like, I made Harry do, like, can you just improvise something about, like, you know, your sister being supportive? And it was just like, this I don't know, very on the nose monologue. It's the same as
I'd love
as I was saying before.
Wouldn't it be great?
Thought bubble.
Yes, express.
Well, now I'm just thinking about the whole documentary thing again and reality, but
Yeah.
they're like how we did it, the improvised nature, pulling from things that were raw and real to us throughout our history.
Yeah.
I think it just comes off as very just by and by because of where it's come from. It's personal.
Yeah.
And it means more. Like, I think something I really admire from the whole film is that, like, personally, I just never get the sense of, like, all right, that's the Act 1 break.
Yeah.
Like, or, like, there's the inciting incident. I never, like, get the impression that this is overwrought with trying to signpost feelings or emotions.
Yes.
A lot of what, like, maybe that's because of the improv, but a lot of it feels like some of the best performances or best things I've seen where it feels raw, real. It's very moving within it.
Yeah. I agree. Because I think, like, me getting Harry to, like, introduce that anecdote is, like, something that wasn't really coming from a real place, you know? And that's the stuff that sort of ended up on the proverbial cutting room floor. So this was actually, filming this was quite... I had to time this in real time. Because I had to, like... So I had to film with Harry and then in the same, like, wide shot then call you. And I was like... And then at that same time...
And your camera only films for 12 minutes at a time.
It only films for 12 minutes at a time. But anyway, and I was like... And then I think you wanted to postpone shooting. It's like... Can we do it now? Can we because that was just convenient. So yeah, and that worked out fine because it was kind of like at both of our last days.
Yeah.
Because because we planned another call after this, I think, or something like that.
I never wanted to touch it again after that lockdown finished.
Yeah.
I was happy to handball it off to you.
Yeah, because this was like, this was towards the end of it, and that was fine. Like, this is a good note to finish on for like these characters.
Very much so.
Like, you don't need that fifth call.
Okay, enjoy your nondescript wine.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Delicious, nondescript wine.
I had to keep calling and hanging up with Harry to to do different takes. Anyway.
Remote work, huh?
So, yeah, the only problem is that you get these weird jump cuts. This was the best way to do it. I would prefer if it was all one natural thing, but such is the nature of improv. You can't regret anything.
No.
Because it's just like, why bother? Like, everything is just...
Why didn't I improvise it differently?
Yeah. You have what you have.
Yeah.
There's no point, like, wallowing over, you know.
I feel it's such a,
The other day.
I feel sometimes like a lot of technical critiques can come down to just personal preference rather than the value of what's actually being presented.
Yeah, because it just depends on what you find most intrinsically interesting in a constructed piece of media. You know, like if you really like, you know, performance and improv, then you'll be more inclined to this still shot, this reasonably uninteresting shot, but like want the action more.
Yeah, I think an idea we had when we published it is
like 2-3 fucking weeks of radio silence?
we you had the opportunity to show some of your shorts that you had made during this time to a live audience, and a big audience at that, 30, 40, and things we would never consider or like thinking about the audience or having back yada yada because we just didn't have one.
Yeah.
Getting such a visceral impact was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
If the chance was ever there to see this with 30 odd people,
That'd be nice. That's half as many of the YouTube videos views.
That's a commentary track through the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, things. I mean, it's just also a side effect of shooting in a lockdown and something being digitally published.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something personal about like our own viewership and how we perceive it. But
I do like that we stay on me for a lot of this.
Yes.
And when we bring you in, I was really I remember being really confused for a long time because like we didn't cut during any of this. This is pretty much the whole core. And somehow I was just like there was a blank in my brain when you mentioned like the on my birthday thing, you know.
Yes.
I just thought that was not in it until
Yes.
I like rewatched it like the 8th time. And I was like, oh, that line is in there. And I was like, oh yeah, it's good that we got rid of that line. Because that was a little, you know, that's. Then we cut to you. I like this. You didn't want to cut back to you.
No.
But I did. So I did.
Yeah. I think that's because I was thinking...
Do you want to hear Andy's?
Yeah. And I think I know we definitely chatted about during one of the feedback sessions on one of the edits was how much of the film is one or the other's character.
Yeah.
And I think in one of the initial cuts, it felt more so we were leaning towards Andy. I think that's because you had, again, more of a structure, a bit more filmed, there were more setups and that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, just by nature of how we did it, your stuff was more of a reaction to my stuff than mine was to yours.
Yeah.
So...
Whereas, like, in this cut, there's definitely much more of that balance.
At the same time, I reckon you could make a film about half the length that is just each of them.
Yeah.
So...
Another experiment that does not need to happen.
No, I can't be fucking bothered. But... Then I throw the phone, like you did, which I didn't know that you did earlier in the film.
I think, didn't, at the end of this one, I, like, flippity-doojied?
Oh, yeah, we do it again. Yeah, we do. We both throw the phone here, don't we?
No, I think you cut it before I threw the phone.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Let's find out.
I don't remember. Take on Mets! Take on Mets!
Yeah.
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 Oh, no, we go back to you, don't we? Or do we stay on this?
I think we stay on this.
I'm probably thinking of an older edit.
Well, it was...
This is a nice little finale to the ladder motif.
Yeah, I think it was... When did we shoot the ending? It was like at least...
2 months later.
It was definitely 2 months, yeah.
It was like, yeah. July-ish.
Yeah, gosh.
Oh,
no? Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I came back here for this. Yeah. Yeah.
Visual motif. What does it mean? I don't know.
Well, that's like the ladder thing. The idea is that that's where Andy goes when Andy is stressed.
Okay, me at a point of reflection on what the New York thing could be is trying to get out of the space, but forcibly making the space somewhere else that it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
Yeah, thanks.
Good. Intentional filmmaking.
Yeah, it's all intentional.
You can see the ladder in the
Love the colours.
Oh my god, when we had to film this, I had moved out of this house.
Yes, so we broke it.
Technically, we still had the lease, so I was allowed to do this, but I didn't have the keys anymore, so we had to use that ladder to climb the fence. That's why it's there. So all the furniture is gone in the back. You can, clearly see that it's gone. And, there was nothing else in the garage. We had to bring the lawnmower, which made your car stink for months.
Oh my god, the petrol.
And we had to bring it in and then hoist it over the... Actually, we got the door open and then, the door broke or whatever. It was fucked anyway.
Why don't people make more movies about just one person in a room talking to themselves? Why don't they do that?
It's really rewarding to see them together after all this.
Yeah.
But that was the last time I ever set foot in that house.
And unintentional.
Yes.
Just unintentional. The colours as well.
Yeah.
The blue and the orange complementing one another.
Yeah.
It's
quite nice.
Incredibly accidental.
I mean, part of my presentation too was trying to it's a marriage of femme things and mask things, so I didn't shave. Because Andy's has a whole thing about shaving to the point of endangering oneself. And then so I have my nails done, but I'm
we filmed the whole
doing
walk
jeans
there, didn't we?
Yeah. So I like the implication that Andy has progressed to a different point.
Just tired.
My whole pitch for this was I remember on the day going okay, so we need to address all these plot points. We need to address the parents. We need to address the email. We need to wrap it up. We're going to say oh, I'm seeing a dietitian now. And then you were no. Because it's just better we just talk. And of course, because then that's just checking off plot points and it's...
Yeah. Whereas how much we could let up to just everyone's individual.
Yeah.
I was moving my shoe. And,
yeah. I'm worried it'll pick it up.
Oh, I
I'm
see.
sure it'll have picked up this horrible couch making lots of noise.
I don't know
And
what
every
animal
single
that's-
viewer that's going to listen to this is...
I'm sure we'll double what the film got.
Yeah, it's,
I guess
116
there are
views.
side
That's my goal.
Millions
With
of
this
views.
commentary. Yeah. Most people though. Were you saying something before I did the shoe thing? I don't.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe something important. Maybe something enlightening, but
Maybe.
we'll never know.
We'll never know. Yeah, I don't think we would. If we did something in this world again, we would not do it the same way,
No.
where we don't know what the other's doing. I feel like collaboration is better than not collaborating.
Yes.
But this was a very interesting experiment.
Fancy?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, so much of it, we'd spent so much of the time before making it just doing shorts with a lot of the way we, and where a lot was made on the day.
Which,
Whereas this and then Thank You for Calling as well were just like
what's the word?
experiments, but also just such proof that it could be done.
Yeah.
And that, look, it's always, if we had maybe 2 or 3 other people, maybe helping behind the scenes or giving input throughout, and a bit more open to the process,
Yeah.
there would be that degree of polish that I think is sort of an expectation of any film that gets published, whether independently or commercially. But I adore the oddities of this film
Yeah.
so much, because it does become a time capsule
Yeah.
of the time.
I mean, this performance would have been different had there been someone else there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, by nature, like, I don't know, it really captures, like, a nice, raw thing. I think we were conscious of someone else in our surroundings, which is not what you get with most films.
No.
And this is quite nice.
Wasn't there someone with their kid at the playground there?
What's that?
I feel like there was.
Maybe.
Was that an accidental,
What?
like a cloud went over and the light went down?
I think I had to, like, cut it so that the light wouldn't come up again and it wouldn't
Okay.
look weird.
That was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, your note in one of the edits was just to let the song run all the way through the credits. Which gives me a perfect opportunity, because I wrote this during production. There was this point where I was like, let's find it. I probably should have done this before we...
Doesn't matter.
There it is. I sent you this, like, set of messages, like, obsessively detailing
Did?
how to spell the name Zach.
No. I can't fucking remember that.
I don't know. At the end of these, I write, I should read this out on the commentary.
I think you should,
Alright.
so I can laugh.
How set in stone are you on the spelling of Zach as Zach Z-A-C-K? Is it too late on your end to change it? This is a really weird reframing of a dead weight conflict, that's why we got the character names, that I've long forgotten, which is your default spelling of the name. Now this doesn't matter in the slightest. But I'm just thinking of how much I'll be slightly bothered writing out the film's synopses with a spelling that for some reason is viscerally wrong to me that bothers me for some reason. Period of question marks. If you want to keep it as Zach, rather than change it to Zach, either out of pragmatism with footage you may have already have your name written out or phonetically spelled out, or just a general refusal, I will literally not fight you on it. Oh, I just find it so weird to imagine the name that way it itches at my autismo brain. It just doesn't make sense, and I can't explain it more than that, because every explanation is inherently dumb. The stakes are low, and this does not matter, and I'd like to stress that point. You know what my theory is? I had a high school bully named Zach with a K. That's not something to factor in, it's just interesting. Because I don't know why I care about this. You know who else has the name Zach? Zack Snyder. And you know what? Who else loves the letter K 3 times in a row? Something to think about. When we do the commentary track, I want to read this entire thread out loud, because it's been a while since the first message and I've had a lot of time to self-reflect on the battles I've chosen in life. And then he just replied, we do the Zach you want.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. Alright. What are your reflections on the film? Is there anything more to say that you want to really get out there?
I was going to say something really nice and genuine,
Uh-huh.
and it was going to be so good, and then
Yeah.
you're like, hey, here's this thing I want to...
Okay, during the point in the
That was
film
actually quite good.
where you could have
Yeah, could have.
meaningfully expressed that. Do you have the footnotes of that?
I've got the feeling. I'm just going
Alright.
to try and work out that feeling.
Alright.
So anyone who is left with this gets to experience it. Maybe, maybe not. Now I feel like I'm on the spot.
Yeah,
I am, but
well, I'm glad to know that we ruined the moment.
good.
I don't know. It was nice making this film with you.
Oh, it was quite nice. Yeah, it's. I've always hated the term like suffer for your art because I think the best sort of self-expression comes from a place where you feel not necessarily like fun or happy or anything, but from a place where you feel comfortable. And I think neuroses aside and struggles aside, it was just a byproduct a lot of the time of the circumstances that we were in. And I really, really just appreciated that, like, in that time I had someone like you who wasn't just a great collaborator but a great friend. And we could, well, share the shitstorm together and didn't feel so alone about it. Because it definitely felt like that at times, but
Yeah.
it's a testament to our ability to just, have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I wanted to say originally,
No, it was very
but I think
nice.
it came out better.
Yeah, it came out great. Okay. Well, thanks for helping out with helping out.
To those who are listening, thank you for watching and
Yes.
thank you for listening.
Yeah.
You can always subscribe for more at the low cost of nothing.
Okay. All right. Love you.
Love you, bye.
Bye-bye.